Action.
Good morning, YouTubers. I'm Jeremy with Signs by Van, and today we are at Jackal Enterprises, our local lumber mill. And today we're going to walk you through the building and through the process of how we pick wood to make our signs. Today's a pretty special day. It's the largest order of wood that we've ever picked up. We have a very large project out in Carmel Valley that we're sourcing Western red cedar 2x12, and we're going to show you how to pick out the perfect pieces of wood. So here we are inside the main warehouse. One thing I want to kind of let you guys know is before you come to a lumber yard, especially one that you have a good relationship with, give them a call ahead of time and let them know exactly which stack you're going to be pulling from. That way they're able to move everything out of the way for you before you get there, and you're going to save yourself a good 15 to 20 minutes. All right, so another big important tip when you're coming to the lumber yard is make sure that you have an inventory list of exactly what it is you are sourcing. In this case today, we're looking for 2x12 Western red cedar pieces that are between 14 and 17 feet in length. We need approximately 30 sticks of that, so we're gonna go through this pile that you have behind me here and pick out the straightest, driest, which is the lightest pieces that we can find that look like they're in the best condition. That's what we're gonna show you how to do right now. So I've got a perfect example here of when you're taking a look at a piece of wood, you really got to inspect the top, the sides, make sure it's straight this way, make sure you don't have large waves in it, and most importantly, flip your piece over and I'll show you why. When you flip this piece over, you notice that there's a huge gouge out of it, and this sometimes happens in transport. This obviously would be a piece that would not be able to utilize, but it's good to make sure that you flip every piece over and inspect it as closely as possible so you don't have any surprises when you get it back to your facility. I think this is a 15-footer. So one of the things we're looking for in the Western red cedar is it's already kiln dried, which means that we get approximately 90% of the moisture out of the wood. Why that helps us is we then take it back to our facility, we sandblast it, we carve it, we process it, whatever we do to make the sign, and then we're going to go ahead and prime it, and then that locks out all of the moisture from the wood, which then allows for this wood to have a lot of longevity out in the field for 20, 25, even 30 years in some cases. It's a great piece right here. Ooh, actually, what's that right there? How bad is this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, it's got some snaps and stuff on there. I don't think this is. Yeah, I'm gonna put this one away. We have plenty enough wood to choose from to be here. So I can't tell you enough how much you gotta inspect every piece of wood. A lot of times, you know, when the lumber mill actually gets this from the logging mill up north, it'll come down, and in transport, things will crack, things will pop. And when you're taking a look at this, you know, just inspecting this for a couple more minutes here made me able to find this crack right here. And if you take this thing right here and you actually push on it, you can see that that crack runs all the way down here and we lose a whole foot. So make sure that you look at every piece meticulously for any defects, and that's gonna save you time and money and repair down the road. Guys, so I just kind of wanted to show you a really cool thing. So when I'm looking at wood and I'm trying to figure out which pieces are the best, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for straightness right down. And if you can actually get a camera angle straight down the barrel of that stick of wood, you'll see just how straight this thing is. And that's why we come to Jackal, because their wood is such high quality right from the start. The other thing we're looking for is vertical grain. You'll see the grain going up and down. What that allows for is when we sandblast, it allows for that perfect uniform grain all the way through. The other thing that we're looking for is making sure that the wood doesn't wave like this. And then there's one other really cool thing, especially on this piece, it being so beautiful. If you look at the grain, you're not seeing it wave back like this. You're seeing these long grains that run the whole length of this piece of wood. This is the epitome of what we're looking for in high quality Western red cedar. So wood can be deceiving. That's why you want to flip it over and you want to look at it from all angles. Especially on this piece right here, you'll see that there's some discoloration. This could be a place where some water sat for a little while. There's discoloration from being out in the sun or for where you know, during transportation something could have marred it. But this is a perfect example. When I flip this thing over, you can see just absolutely perfect this grain is. And this one even has a little bit of a character on the far right side there. You'll see that it kind of runs a little bit. When picking out wood for sandblasting, like we primarily use this stuff for, don't be afraid of some different types of textures of grain, because that's what adds a lot of character to the signs. So this is, again, a perfect example of just how funky something can look on this side. You flip it over and that's the true beauty of this piece. This is why we come to Jackal right here for this stuff right here. Go ahead. Now that we're almost done with picking out all of the wood that we wanted out of the main stack, you have all these pieces over here that we've moved off to the left. It's common courtesy whenever you come to somebody else's establishment, once you've moved all the pieces that weren't satisfactory for your specific project, to make sure that you take these and you put them back and get them ready for them to be able to inventory them back into their stock. By leaving this unattended, you create an extra amount of work for the guys that are here, and it's just common courtesy to make sure that you take care of the stuff that you've moved off to the side. So what we're going to do with all of these pieces right now is we're going to lay them back down. We're going to flatten them 3 wide, just like when we got here, so that it's easy for them to go ahead and continue on with what they've got to do throughout the day. Just a pro tip for a good way to keep good relationships with your lumber mill. So just one more quick pro tip before we go. We've got all of our Western red cedar loaded on the truck, but before we go and before your forklift driver takes off, you want to make sure that you have your load justified front to back evenly for weight, and then your left to right is on center of gravity. So when we first dropped this load on top of the rack, it was left justified over the driver's door. I asked him if he would kindly pick the load back up and center it on my truck, which he did, and now it's perfectly balanced for driving down the highway. That's going to save you a lot of issues moving forward.